For almost a century, the skies above the Alps were missing one of their most extraordinary creatures. With a wingspan of almost 3 meters, this bird vanished from our mountains not because he couldn't survive there, but because we decided that it no longer belonged there. And today I'm here to meet the bearded vulture, the rarest vulture in Europe. So for the story of today, I joined one of the persons who dedicates every day of their life to study and monitoring this beautiful bird in the Austrian Alps. Who are you and what do you do in your life?
So I am Elisabeth and I am a biologist and an ecologist, and I am the project leader of the bearded vulture monitoring of Northern Tyrol.
Our day started at the Nature Park house in Ötztal, and from here we headed to a location where 2 adult bearded vultures have recently been seen flying. And our first goal was simple, but definitely not easy, and it was finding the nest.
$2,200.
Okay. What is this project about and what's its purpose?
So this project is mainly there so we can monitor the breeding pairs that we have in Northern Tyrol, but also we do a lot of information work, like we do excursions, we do presentations, we are there at some special events providing information for people, and also, of course, I have to manage the data that we collect. So there is a huge data bank or a data network where I save all the data, and that's also a big part of it, of course. Bearded vulture is a very special bird because it only feeds on carcasses, so dead animals only. And even more special is that it feeds on bones. So it prefers to eat bones. Over 90% are bones. So they are actually a very, very important part in our ecosystem because they simply clear actually the whole environment. The bearded vulture lays its egg during winter time, so around Christmas they lay their egg. And this does have a very special reason because in spring the chick hatches, and in spring you have to imagine that all the animals that did not survive the hard winter here, they are ready for feeding the chick. So there's a lot of food that the bearded vulture can provide to the chick. Then it takes around 110 days until the chick fledges. And then again, the chick stays in the territory of the parents for around 8 months. It can be even longer. And then you can say the childhood somehow ends, and then they go to find their own territory. Usually they do have only one chick. So they do lay 2 eggs sometimes, but 1 egg is just a biological backup. But usually they do have 1 chick that they feed. If at some point the second chick also hatches, it simply is the weaker one and it will not survive as long because the older one, the bigger one, the stronger one will take all the food from the small one, so the small one will not survive. But this is normal since the birds take a lot of energy to feed the chick, so they do have only the energy for 1 chick. We have 7 breeding pairs in Northern Tyrol. The 8th one is actually confirmed already too, but we didn't find the nest yet. So officially we cannot speak of it as a breeding pair.
Okay.
A really cool thing that many people don't know is that they would be completely white on their stomach and on their neck. And what they do is they search for bathing sites where they have a lot of iron oxide inside. So it's a red mud, and they go there to bathe inside those red mud places. So it gets this beautiful red color that we know. And we still don't know why they do it. So it could be aesthetic reasons, because they do it more likely during a pairing or mating season, but they do it all year around. So also another reason could be that it saves them from parasites, like chickens. They also bathe in the sand. Yeah, but it's this typical red color that we know from the bearded vulture is only because they bathe in those bathing sites.
So the search continued with our binoculars, but after about an hour of hiking, we started to lose the hope. The cliffs didn't seem suitable for a nest, and we couldn't find any sign of the birds.
They usually stay at the same nest if everything is all right around the nest. So if there's no disturbance or anything and they like the place, they usually stay. And they also usually stay together as a pair if everything is working out. I mean, it is possible that they change the partner during life period, but sometimes or usually they stay together.
We also stopped a couple of times to set up the spotting scope and carefully scanned the mountainside, but every time the result was the same. Nothing. As Elisabeth explained me, this should also be the best time of the day to spot the bearded vulture flying, which is between 11 a.m. and noon. Why is it important to collect this kind of data?
So this project is actually not only in Northern Tyrol, but there are many, many projects around Europe. And we work all together, like all the experts work together. And with this data, we can somehow see how well the population is growing.
So in the end, we decided it was best to leave this area. Elisabeth will come back here in the next weeks to search again for the nests, but probably she will do it from the other side of the valley. And now time to look back, because we couldn't find any nests. Now we're gonna go to another place here in the valley. And now it was time to move to a new location where active nest is already known. Just last week, the young bird took its first flight from this nest, and with a bit of luck, this is where we could be able to see some bearded vultures flying in the sky. As Elisabeth explained it, one of the biggest threats to bearded vultures today is lead poisoning. Their stomach acid is incredibly strong, allowing them to digest bones that most animals couldn't. But when those bones contain tiny fragments of lead left behind from hunting, the lead dissolves into the stomach, enters into the bloodstream, and attacks the nervous system. And in many cases, the poison is fatal. That's why working with hunters and encouraging them to switch to lead-free alternatives is one of the key steps in protecting these species for the future.
Places inside the wall, because that's where the birds sit, for example, for sleeping or resting. And the feces are very white, so it's like white stains in the wall.
And here there are more, there, and there. I don't think I have enough zoom, but trust me, you can see the feces marks. There are those white stains. How does the project work more in a practical way?
Actually, we were on our way today, so I work very closely together with people that already are outside in nature and are observing the birds. So for example, I have a lot of hunters and people that work at the cottage or as just simple hikers. And those people then, they call me and tell me, okay, Elisabeth, there I saw a bearded vulture. Then I collect all this information, and sometimes I do even get the tips that there could be a new pair formation. So I have to go out in the field and take a look and search for this pair, for this potential pair. And when I find it, or if we do have a nesting location that we know, I do go there on a regular basis to simply check if everything is okay. We take notes, we have a look at when do they lay the egg, when does the chick hatch, and when does it fledge. Then I also spend a lot of time in front of the computer, so it's not only being outside, but also a lot of computer work. Very long time ago, people thought that the bearded vulture is a really bad bird. So they thought that it would steal their sheep, and even they thought they would steal their children. So they hated this bird actually, and also hunted it. And it was in 1913 when the last known bearded vulture was shot in the Alps. This was in Italy, and from then on it was quiet. So they then tried to reintroduce the bird, and in the 70s they tried to capture birds from Afghanistan and from Russia and try to bring them here and then release them. This didn't work very well because the birds were so weak from the transport. So the 10 birds they tried to bring here, they died except of two. Two then went into a reintroduction program in a zoo. So later on they tried to take the birds from the zoos, and with an age of around 90 to 100 days, they take the bird from the zoo and put it into a nest that they prepared before. And so at an age of 110 days, the chick fledges by itself. And this works really well. And this method is called a hacking method.
Waiting to see them fly, maybe. By 4 p.m. we had almost completely lost the hope, but just as we were packing our backpacks and getting ready to leave, something happened. Someone spotted it. The footage I managed to capture through the binocular, it's not the best quality, but I can tell you that the emotion of seeing the birded vulture really in front of you, it's something that really I will never forget. We spent the next half an hour watching it closely. how it moved, how it fed on the bones, and how it scanned the landscape around it. And then at some point it decided it was time to leave. And there it is, taking off into the sky. To finish our day, we returned back to the museum, to the nature park house, where the offices are located, and Elisabeth showed me the part of data analysis. So basically how the sightings are recorded and then entered into the database.
When it was, and also what age the bird had that they saw. So if it was a juvenile or an adult bird and stuff. So this is where I collect everything and everyone, like people from Italy, from Switzerland, from Bulgaria, everyone uses this data bank.
Yeah, international bird.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Yeah.
The different projects, for example, here the LBV does have a map, for example, where Luisa is, for example, right now. Here you can see exactly where Luisa, for example, was. 19th of June. And I have the live version, so I can always compare when I get the sighting and the bird does have a feather marking. I compare it with the GPS data, so I know exactly, okay, this was Luisa on this and this day.
Okay, yeah. So today was really an amazing day. It was a roller coaster of emotions, but it's really amazing to see how much commitment you need to put every day to study an animal like this, and at the same time how all this commitment is paid off in the moment that you see the bird there in front of you, which is really an amazing feeling. So if you want to know more about the project, I will leave you the link here in the description. And if you live in the area, maybe you can also try to contact Elisabeth to become a volunteer, to help her finding or spotting more bearded vultures in the sky of the Austrian Alps. Thank you so much, and I hope to see you soon for another story. Bye bye!